Yeah, about to drop that knowledge. Today we're going to talk about being tired. Oh, I'm not talking about being, tired as in I'm sleepy or, I feel lethargic. Oh, no. I'm talking about 1,000-pound tires. Literally. Okay. If you have watched my YouTube channel or if you've seen my Facebook posts, you know, chances are you've seen these big tires. And the question is, why would you go out and acquire these tires? Well, these tires started calling to me. When I was going through college, I was going full time and, trying to balance out responsibilities and just everyday activities and working out. It came a point where I no longer could, find the time to go to the gym. So did I let that stop my progress? You know, Being a trainer, I pride myself on my physical and my skill set to, better equip you so that you are able to overcome things. So, it's almost an impossibility for me to sit there and slack off while so many people rely on me. I'm going to tell you to work out, and I'm just sitting around, getting out of shape and fat. It's not going to happen. So, anyways, I went into my garage, and I gutted that thing, and I built Iron Cross Training. Right, so I started, working out in there, and I started getting some really good results. That happened for a couple years, and then, there was always this big tire. It was just looming in the back of my mind because I had watched strongman competitions and videos and seen these tires, and I had always sat there and wondered, how would I get this tire? Man, I would love to try and flip a tire. And it kept nagging at me, and it took probably a year. And then I started doing some more research. You know, I started looking up online, how I would acquire a tire, going to strongman, forums, and trying to get some information on where I would get a tire, how much the tire weighs, how do you even gauge how much the tire weighs, things like that. And, I would call around, and I called a couple places up, and I found out that these tires, if you buy them brand new, could cost up and, a couple $1,000. So I knew that wasn't happening. So I wanted to see if maybe they had one that they could donate. But at the time, the dealerships I were talking to, they didn't have any. So they suggested maybe trying to find one that, had been discarded, possibly at a recycling plant or something like that. So I tried to find some information on that, and ran into a lot of dead ends. Couldn't really get anything happening on that front. So I let it rest for probably about 3 or 4 months went by. And this tire was still just looming in my head. It's sitting there. It just became an obsession. I was like, I really want to try and flip these tires. I want to get some of these. This looks like an awesome way to really challenge myself. And is it even possible? So I started looking, and I found a recycling plant, and this nice lady, Debbie, she went out and tried to actually acquire from different sources to see if they had any tires in some of their recycling plants, for like construction equipment or something like that, like earth movers. That went on for maybe a week. And then, Debbie told me about this place that was really close to me, right down the road. I, called them up, told them I'm coming. I'm coming right now. I went to Home Depot, got the truck. If you guys look at that video on my site, you'll see, the Home Depot truck with those two massive tires stacked up on it. You know, that was quite a journey to get it to that point because when I went down there, these things were in the mud, and this dude Al, he has his tow motor. And we go down there and he gets the tow motor. The first one gets stuck in the mud. So he gets another one, and then he's riding around on that thing, and then I get one. So we got three tow motors trying to get these tires out of there. Al disappeared for a little while. He had something to tend to, and I was over there, and the tire was laying on the side. It had fallen into these old rusty paint cans, so it kind of was like crushing them. And it was at a very maybe a 45-degree angle or something like that. So, I sit there and I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to try and just move the tire and see what happens. So I actually was able to move this thing. That was the first time I ever had lifted anything that odd, as far as shape and, weight. So I lifted the tire and I got it up on its end to where I could roll it. Al comes back and I have the thing sitting next to the Home Depot truck, and he's like, "What happened?" And I'm like kind of excited because I moved the tire and the tow motors couldn't. So I'm like, "Oh, Al, the wind came and just happened to blow it over here." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Either that or, the Incredible Hulk or Superman showed up and lifted that thing over there." So needless to say, Al and I were able to get the tires finally on the truck. I was very careful driving that truck because if you look at the video, it's a flatbed, and I was very concerned that if one of those tires came off and hit a car, I mean, you talk about total destruction. So I was very thankful and, just relieved when I got to the house. But then the other challenge began, the challenge of actually trying to get the tires off the truck. See, the first one came relatively easy. I could lift that top tire off and throw it right down to the ground. The second one, I must have spent 20, 30 minutes yanking on that thing, trying to pull it, trying to hit it, trying to kick it, just to be beyond frustrated. Finally, it started to move, and I got it off, and it was just exhausting. But that's just a little backstory. Now, the question is, what are these tires? Are they, just something that I like to lift, to show off? No, you see what I love about the tires is the tires, before I was even able to lift one, okay, it took a year and a half to actually accomplish that goal. 1 year and a half. That means every Tuesday around 11 midnight, sometimes 1 o'clock, regardless of what was going on, I would be out there attacking this tire. All seasons, no excuses, just going at it. This tire beat me, right? Broke me, humbled me, brought me down, to this point of where I was thinking, can I even do it? You know, so I had to learn, adapt, and shift. My body had to change. So what this tire is although it is a physical, thing, it's also a manifestation. See, it's a challenge, and that's what everybody faces in life, challenges, right? So you may be facing a challenge just like this tire. It may not be physical, it could be spiritual, could be mental, could be some kind of, financial thing, whatever it is. We all face challenges. And what I'm saying is, if you put in the time and you have the faith and you believe, you can overcome it. It may take a little bit longer than you think, it will, but it will come. And when that day comes, it is a sweet victory. Okay, I'll tell you about how simple this was when I finally was able to lift this tire. It's 11 o'clock, right? I lifted the tire. I'm sitting there. I know I got it. I lift it. I raise my hands up in the air. I say, "Thank you, Jesus." I throw a rock at the window. My Jillian comes out. I tell her I flipped the tire, right? And I explained to her I finally did it, and it was a silent victory. It wasn't like all excited and jumping around. It was like such a beautiful wave of just knowing that after a year and a half of work and attacking this tire, I was able to do it. So what I'm saying is, relate this and put it into your life and apply these things that I'm telling you, right? Maybe you have to study for a year and a half. Maybe you have to change your diet for a year and a half. Maybe you have to dedicate yourself to something for for a year and a half in order to accomplish your goal. So what? It doesn't matter. Let me tell you something. Keep going. Don't give up. Keep moving through the challenge. You know, uh, you know, I mean that tire. It still sits there and challenges me. If you looked, uh, I have tried to lift that thing in the snow, in the rain, so it doesn't matter what the outside, condition is. I want you to look at yourself like that. Look at where you are in your life, and then say weather or things like that. Snow, rain, heat, okay? There's all kinds of things that could sit there and I can make excuses and try to stop lifting that tire. So what are the things that now relate? You could say, oh, I'm too busy, or I work too much, or I have this. That could be your weather patterns, initially. But those are all just excuses. See, those are outside variables. They're all tricks. All that matters is you going to your tire and giving it all you got and trying to lift that thing and becoming stronger and willing yourself and believing that it's possible. So that's just a quick little story about the tire. I want you guys out there, regardless of what your goal is, like I said, whatever the challenge is in your life, don't give up. Keep attacking your tire, and eventually you're going to lift that thing and conquer it. And that's what I'm just excited for you guys out there. So write in some comments. Tell me what tire you have to tackle, in your life, how you plan on doing it. Share, subscribe, get this message out. Help me build this channel so that I can reach more and more people. And that's it.